We take you live now to sunny Southern California, where it is sunny, although it's chilly. It's chilly here, which is kind of funny because I used to live in Buffalo, New York, where I know it's already snowed a couple of times, but oh golly, it got down to 48 degrees last night, and I thought I was going to die. I didn't really think I was going to die, although I do think I am at some point because, man's mortal and I'm hip to that. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Did anybody do roll call? Hey, Hank's here. Hank's in the house. John is here. John, how's it going? David, Frank, Brian, Paul is here. Paul even says Paul is here. So, it's true. There's Matthew. I think I saw Chuck earlier. Donna's here. There we go. Is that everybody? Did I miss anyone? I might have. Eugene is here. Did I say Chuck? I might have said Chuck twice. And Chuck said something to Matthew. Did I say Matthew already? See, I shouldn't even. I hope you guys are good. Let's dive in. Paul, no, it wasn't Paul. Bill, actually. Is Bill here today? Bill actually sent me an interesting question earlier that I've been thinking about a lot. And no, I'm not going to say what I sometimes say to Bill. I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna do first though. Deborah's here. I don't know why I'm going to do it first because people can already see me doing it now. But I'm going to put this over here where people can see it, and so can I. Because my microphone is hiding it. Little Mr. Rogers moment here. Which is different than Romper Room. Yeah, see, I've messed it up now because, well, whatever. You can see it. Tell you about that later if you want to know. In the meantime, let's do a thing. Updates on updates and thoughts on updates. It is Monday, the 14th of December, 2020, and this is macOS Ken Live. It's the 14th of December. It's the 14th of December. How many days does that mean we have left in the year? I don't know. What am I, a mathematician? Hi, I'm Ken Ray, welcoming you into this edition of macOS Ken Live, this thing we do every Monday through Friday at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. I say every Monday through Friday, not all next week, because, next week is the holiday week. And by the way, in case there is any confusion, no, I am not a mathematician. Coming up on the second half of today's show, I'm going to wax poetic. Not real poetry, but what a crazy past 2 hours it has been, for me anyway, and for a lot of us, I think. Certainly for the country, and then depending on when you started paying attention to the updates, maybe that too. So we'll sort of juxtapose what's going on today with what's going on today in the second half of the show. First half of the show, though, updates aplenty. Lots of stuff came out from Apple, most of which seems to be tied to a few things. We'll go over it quickly. I will tell you before we start, I have not updated anything yet, because by the time I saw that it was all out there and got through some business that I had to take care of this morning, once all that had happened, there was no time to update it. I'd have been sitting here waiting for things to update. So I haven't done it yet, but I've been reading a bit about it, and I plan to update just about everything I have tonight. The one thing that always worries me is updating the watch, although I want to go ahead and update my Apple Watch relatively early so that I can try Apple Fitness Plus, so I can talk about that here tomorrow. But why don't I tell you what they actually updated and tell you what people are saying about it? All of this comes from, I want to say it's a piece from Cult of Mac. And God bless them, because they wrote one article about all of the updates. I appreciate the thoroughness of Apple Insider. I appreciate the thoroughness of iDownload Blog. I appreciate everybody who is so thorough and writes a different article about every one of the updates. Certainly they get the ad buy from, everybody sitting there reading every article as well. So I know it's not just about being thorough, but I appreciate their thoroughness. I also appreciate the fact that Cult of Mac just was like, here's everything. Here it all is in one article. And, not a few ads as well. So iOS 14.3 and iPadOS 14.3 came out today. According to Cult of Mac, iOS 14.3 includes support for Apple Fitness Plus and AirPods Max. The release also adds the ability to capture photos in Apple Pro RAW on iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 Pro Max. Introduces privacy information on the App Store and includes other features and bug fixes for your iPhone. That says iPhone, but they say that the notes are almost exactly the same for the iPad, which I also could have updated and yet did not. Big Sur, macOS Big Sur 11.1 introduces support for AirPods Max. Comes with some TV app enhancements, has some Apple News widgets and privacy information on the App Store. It's interesting to me because they're able to update the App Store all the time, right? I mean, they put new apps in all the time without me having to update anything on my end. And yet, apparently, you actually have to go through the updates to get the new privacy information on the App Store, which is interesting and surprising. I guess it would be easier to make one form field for all of that information rather than having to upload 1,000 forms or 1.6 million forms or however many apps there are in the App Store. We'll get to that more in a moment. watchOS, of course, 7.2 and tvOS 14.3 were updated today as well. watchOS 7.2 would pretty much have to be because of the integration, with Apple Fitness Plus. And all Cult of Mac says about the tvOS app, tvOS 14.3, is that it brings tweaks to the Apple TV set-top box. Doesn't even say what they are. I don't know if they haven't had a chance to look at them yet, or if Apple was not any more, what's the word I'm looking for? Descriptive in their notes for that. I would think there would have to be some under the hood tweaking. I don't know for certain because, as I say, I haven't done that yet. I would imagine that there are security updates to all of these things as well, and I'll be going over those for tomorrow's macOS Ken. There seems to be, well, we're learning a lot early about Apple Fitness Plus. We had heard that you need an Apple Watch to take advantage of Apple Fitness Plus. And honestly, I don't know where I got the idea that no, you don't, but it turns out no, you don't. You need an Apple Watch to actually integrate, of course, with the television, because what it's doing is it's keeping track of all of your vitals on the watch, and then it'll pop those up on the screen on the Apple TV or the iPad or the iPhone, whatever you're using it to do your Fitness Plus thing. But you can still play along without the watch. Basically, you can still do the exercises just by watching it and going along with that. It's kind of weird because Apple does say initially in the FAQ on Fitness Plus, do you need an Apple Watch? They say, yeah, because Apple Watch personalizes your Apple Fitness Plus experience. And yet a piece from iDownload blog says, if you don't have an Apple Watch or if your Apple Watch isn't upgraded to the latest version of watchOS, then you will get a prompt saying that you can work out without the Apple Watch, which of course makes sense. No, it doesn't have the whiz bang. No, it doesn't have the integration. No, it doesn't have, the promise of the future. Basically, it's 20-minute workout, if you remember that. Probably a bit more informative and a bit less softcore. That would be my guess. I haven't watched it yet, but knowing Apple, that would be my guess. And that's a whole other thing for a whole other thing. What's really strange is, okay, so you can watch the videos and do that without having the Apple Watch, without having that integration. And yet another piece from my download blog says what you can't do is AirPlay it. Which on the one hand, I'm not surprised because they're pushing the integration. For its part, iDownload blog seem very surprised. This is a strange move on Apple's part. They say not everyone out there has an Apple TV or even wants an Apple TV, so forcing those folks who want to use Apple Fitness Plus to use their iPhones or iPads rather than the bigger screen in their home is a decision, they say. There's processing power that goes on inside the Apple TV, right? There's something in their hookup that I don't think would necessarily be built into an LG television. I'm assuming that there's what's the word I'm looking for? Symbiosis. There's a cooperation between a couple of devices making this happen. I don't assume that an LG TV or the Amazon Fire Stick or any of the other things that you can stream Apple TV to would be able to do the same kind of processing or the same kind of handshake or the same kind of cooperation that something made by Apple and something else made by Apple would be able to do. It's the whole soup to nuts thing, except instead of it being the operating system and the hardware, in one device, it's two pieces of hardware and two operating systems shaking hands and saying, let's play, or let's get this guy more fit, or whatever. So the other weird thing that's going on with Apple TV, not Apple TV Plus, excuse me, Apple Fitness Plus right now, and this will be according to yet another piece from my download blog, it's not available for the iPad. So when you update to iOS 14.3, apparently the fitness app, I don't think it's Fitness Plus automatically because you're not automatically enrolled in that. But the fitness app is automatically on the iPhone. It's installed. I think it might be a holdover from another app and it's just renamed and rebranded. And it's got the Fitness Plus stuff built in. It's not built into the iPad, but you can download it to the iPad, except no, you can't, at least not yet. As noted by several iPad owners, says iDownload blog. And they've also confirmed this as well. It's not just what they're hearing, but it's what they've seen themselves. The fitness app is not available to download for the iPad at the time of publication. Unlike the iPhone, the fitness app isn't pre-installed on iPad. As a result, folks who want to use Fitness Plus on their tablet need to download the fitness app from the App Store. All right, well, wait a minute. Oh, okay, but it's not there yet. At least it wasn't when they wrote this. Who knows? It may be. Heck, it may be now because it's been about an hour since they wrote that, maybe an hour and a half. And certainly one imagines it'll be there tomorrow. I'm really surprised, honestly, that they waited until today to release all of the updates and release Fitness Plus. Very happy to have Rob Walsh as a guest on In a Few Minutes this week. He is, of course, the host of Today in iOS. And we talked about whether we were surprised that this didn't happen until today. He was a bit surprised that they were releasing all of this today, along with the new service that is Fitness Plus. I was surprised that they didn't release all the updates on Friday. And you know, he does work for a company that Libsyn, while it does host podcasts, is also kind of a software platform, I suppose. And man, you would think that I had just suggested to him that he pray to Satan. I said, you know, I'm surprised they didn't update it on Friday. You never update on Friday. Like, okay, unless there's a big bug push, you never update on Friday. Okay, nobody updates on Friday. I'm like, okay, dude, I'm sorry. I wasn't suggesting. I was saying I was surprised. I had a lot of fun with him this week on In a Few Minutes, by the way. So if you don't normally check out that show this week and find out what was so fun about it. The privacy labels we've been talking about off and on for a long time. I know Apple actually announced those at WWDC. They gave everybody a deadline of, I guess it was a week ago tomorrow, the 8th of December. Developers, that is, to get their privacy information in there. It's basically going to tell you when you download an app and when you sign up, the kind of information it's going to collect and what it plans to do with that information. I don't know how that works with ATT, the app transparency tracking or the app tracking transparency thing. So like if I download an app that says, yeah, we're going to take your information, we're going to share it with everybody. If I go ahead and download that app anyway, once AT&T or ATT, gets turned on, even though I downloaded an app that says we're going to do that, the operating system should still pop up and say, hey, this app is trying to share this information. Do you want it to? Anyway, everybody doesn't have their stuff in yet. This was another thing that was interesting talking to Rob Walsh. Nope, that was about podcasts. So never mind. I apologize. I was about to say something erroneous about apps, although I'll bet it's partly true for apps as well. I know Apple did its whole thing of culling apps a while ago. I think Rob said there's something like 1.6 million podcasts in Apple Podcasts. I don't know if that's a real number, if that's a number that he made up. Despite there being 1.6 million podcasts in the Podcasts app, he thinks somewhere north of 80% are dead. They're just not being, updated or produced. I mean, a ton of them are like, podcasts that were launched and somebody did 1 episode or 3 episodes, or heck, maybe they even did hundreds of episodes and then stopped publishing for 9 years before restarting that feed. It happens. I would imagine that would be the case in the App Store as well. Not nearly that same percentage, but there have to be some apps out there that aren't necessarily being supported anymore, but the developer's still paying the $99 a year. Here's the thing that I found interesting. Not everybody has their information in yet, and not everybody has to have their information in yet. From a Yahoo Finance piece, I think is what I was reading. Apple has said it is not going to remove apps that don't have app privacy reports in. However, they can't update their app until they put in their app privacy report. So if you're looking at a flatulence app from, 2010, that may never get a privacy notification thing. At the same time, they're never going to be able to update it with all the new technology that could benefit a flatulence app. Hey, coming up in just a minute, I'll wax poetic. I know I said I would, and I will. First, though, I do want to remind you of something that I asked you to do last week. Bill was very kind and actually wrote in and said, hey, here's some stuff you could talk about heading into the holidays, because I know what next week is going to be like. Next week is going to be baking and wrapping things and thinking about, what Christmas movies I should watch and, getting a mask on and going out and looking at Christmas lights and all kinds of fun stuff. My head is going to move further and further away from technology the closer and closer we get to Christmas, and then the closer we get to New Year as well. So if there's a topic you would be interested in hearing about, having me talk about, a question you would like to ask, something along those lines, I'd love it if you did. info@macoscan.com. info@macoscan.com. That's INFO. info@macoscan.com. I don't know if I'm going to do like all 3 shows next week. So I think probably Monday through Wednesday we'll do live shows. I mean, it depends. If real news pops up, we'll do real news, obviously. But at least one show next week I would like to devote to your questions, and maybe a show or 2 the week after that too. So if you've got topics, if you've got questions, if you've got something you want to hear or say, info@macoscan.com. I would be grateful. So here's the waxing poetic part. And I don't have real poetry. I don't have, anything really written out, except I had something weird happen earlier today that I won't, whatever. I shouldn't even mention that, because now you're going to be like, well, what was it? And I can't tell you. But I had something weird happen today. It's not a bad thing. It's just a weird thing. It's one of those things that's, that's a big thing. Past 2 hours, I was reading about all of these updates, right? At the same time, the Electoral College is meeting today. They're casting their votes. They're certifying their election results. Well, the certification already happened. They're casting their votes. And while I was getting ready for this show, California gave its 55 electoral votes to Joe Biden for president and Kamala Harris for vice president, putting him over the 270 threshold. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. About 4 minutes after that happened, it was announced that William Barr would be stepping down as Attorney General before Christmas. That is also a big deal. And it just struck me, and I know this is ridiculous. Everything that we deal with as far as, the Apple stuff. So the Mac, the iPad, the iPhone, the Apple Watch, the Apple TV. The only thing I think that didn't get updated was HomePod, or the HomePods. Otherwise, everything got changed today. And on a national level, everything got changed today. The weird thing is, a lot of the changes that Apple made are still dependent on us. Fitness Plus is out there now. Am I healthier because Fitness Plus is out there? No. There are changes happening, but I still have to be part of those changes. I still have to make part of those changes if I want to benefit from them. And you do too. Apple is now putting out the privacy labels, and that's great. You still have to update if you want the privacy labels. So there's work 1. And then work 2 is you actually have to read them. You actually have to pay attention to what's going on, what's being told to you, what's being said. There's just something weird. There's something weird about all of the big changes happening in one day. And nothing really changes. That's the other thing. Nothing has to change. In fact, nothing is changing, at least as far as on a grand, sort of government scale. until sometime in January. So the 20th or the 21st. You'd think I would know. You think I should know. I should pay more attention. There's a story out there about a woman whose child spent $16,000 on in-app purchases. And that's the biggest number I ever remember. I remember hearing a few thousand occasionally on some kid buying Smurf berries or something like that. A kid spent $16,000 because his mom handed him an iPad with no protections on them whatsoever and no parental controls, it would seem, and no notifications when things were being bought until $16,000 later. We also have to pay attention. Stuff's being given to us, it's great. And stuff that could make everything better. We got to carry the ball too. So that was what I was thinking earlier as I was writing this. One of the questions that Bill asked me was, what happens if you hit a day and you can't think of anything? There's only been one day where I couldn't think of anything, and that was the day before Thanksgiving, which is when I bagged it, which is why I'm asking for people's input. Other days, you get days like this, where I'm like, the Attorney General's resigning? That's just like iOS 14.3. Only here, maybe. Anyway, I'm looking forward to actually downloading all the updates. And, well, I'm not looking forward to downloading them. I'm looking forward to having them downloaded. I haven't run like a really good backup. I keep an iCloud backup, but I haven't run a full backup on my computer for a few days. So that's going to take some time. And then I'm going to go downstairs later and sweat to the oldies or something so I can give you a report on Fitness Plus tomorrow. And hopefully it'll be me, not a nurse, saying, yeah, he kind of overdid the Fitness Plus thing. If you're in the chat room, please stay in the chat room. I'll be by there momentarily to chat with you guys. I would like for you to wax poetic at me. Would you? Would you please? Also, you people listening or watching later, I would like for you to wax poetic at me too. info@macosken.com. As I said at the top of the show, we do this live Monday through Friday, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. There is a great group of people that gets together in the chat room. And then once I'm done recording this part, I get together with them in the chat room, virtually, of course, and we chat. And we'd love it if you were there sometime. So youtube.com/Ken Ray is the place to be a part of that. 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern is the time. Monday through Friday, that is, and youtube.com/Ken Ray is the place. If you're catching this as a replay later, you can also get it as an audio podcast. Just search for macOS Ken Live wherever you find podcasts. Got macOS Ken tomorrow morning, got In a Few Minutes tomorrow morning, got this again tomorrow afternoon. And I will talk to you soon. I have no coffee to pretend to drink today, so we'll just dispense with that charade right now. I feel like there was supposed to be something more. Change is afoot, but only if we. What is the thing? There's actually a song lyric that I think has to do with some of that stuff too. I'm curious if you guys actually downloaded any of the updates yet. Oh, well, Eugene did. Hello. Phew. Lesson learned. Don't update your device 30 minutes before a live stream. Just got him in under the wire. So says Eugene. John McKee is red 5. Don't go down like red 6. Whatever you do. Oh, Frank, that sounds like a setting. Frank said he was having some problem. He can only see the bottom third of my video if he wants to be in the chat room. Honestly, bottom third, you're getting the best of it. You got Mickey right there. You got the microphone. That's mostly what you need. Do. Quite a change from Buffalo. Indeed. Somebody said something about Old Town near here, and I was like, I've been there. It's like a 70s strip mall. That's what passes for Old Town here. I miss the history of the East Coast. Web Bixby saying hello to everybody. Hello, Web. Hey, there's Amy is here as well. Hello, Amy. I don't think I said your names earlier. Wow, Redneck Tech cuts trees for a living. Why would he need a fitness app? Yeah, I sit and talk about tech for a living. I need a fitness app. I go for walks, actually, usually, is how I do it. I was running earlier this year, and that got boring. And also was kind of making me angry, so there we go. Web Bixby says there are 17 days until the end of the year. Thank you, Web. Oh, Web had to leave, so never mind, Web. Well, anyway. Cool. Brian says no problems with watchOS. That's great. I mean, actually says no problems with iOS, iPadOS, or watchOS, but the watch is always the one. I leave that until overnight usually, except I have to do it earlier today because I want to try the Fitness Plus thing tonight. I guess I could leave that until tomorrow. Boy, I'm just going to fill my day with all kinds of health and mindfulness. So I started I always hate talking about other sponsors here. I don't know why. Headspace came on as a sponsor for macOS Ken. And while I have not done what I said of every time I want to reach for my phone to go to Twitter, I'll go to Headspace instead. I haven't done that yet, but I also haven't gone to Twitter yet. So basically, at the very least, it's keeping me in a better headspace by every time I start to go to Twitter mindlessly. I'm like, oh, no, don't do that. You should meditate. I'm like, well, I don't have time to meditate. I do have time, though, 3 minutes. I actually really am impressed with that. And I must be somewhat impressed by it because I never talk about sponsors on other shows here or on other shows, basically. But looking forward to getting to know more about that. I'm going to be more enlightened than all y'all. I'm going to be like, ha ha, you're not enlightened. I may be misunderstanding how enlightenment works. John, you didn't miss much except for me going, hey, John. That was about it. I did not say, okay, what comment at the top, Matthew? Because I don't know. Whoa, what the heck just happened? I'm walking anywhere from 1 mile to 2 miles, Paul, depending on how much time I have. And occasionally I'll do a bit more because sometimes I guess my pace is off. And so what should close my move ring doesn't. And so sometimes I have to go out more. You're in Pennsylvania. Interesting. There are other people on this call in Pennsylvania. Don't want to say who. Because I don't know if they want to say. So there you go. I don't know what robot we're talking about, Matthew. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, I should probably get going here anyway because I have to turn this back around into an audio podcast. Yeah. Is Bill here? Bill's not here, is he? I'll get back to Bill at some point. Right. All right. I guess I'm out. It is a pleasure to have you guys here. Thank you very much for starting your week with me. I appreciate it. If you have topics or what have you that you would like to see addressed, please info@macosken.com. That would be a lot of fun for me anyway, and hopefully it would be for you as well. What? Stephen Kenny says, hey, Ken Ray. Yes. Oh, and Data Dummy is here. He says it's the first time he's watched live. Well, thank you very much for being here, Data Dummy. I wish I knew your real name. Shall I call you Data? I mean, you don't have to tell me your real name. It's fine. But glad to have you here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, that was it. Holy cow, that's right. Matthew said that the a robot did his job today. He was having surgery. He was having surgery performed by a robot. Good. Well, I'm glad, Matthew. Good. Yay. Sorry, I forgot that because I was actually thinking about it over the weekend. I was afraid that I had been a little too because I know I said when you were telling me about it, I was like, "Yeah, you'll be fine," and that's just me being me. I actually did think about you over the weekend. I'm glad I'm glad you did well. I'm glad it went well. I'm glad the robot revolution didn't start right then. Now I look forward to it starting at some point. Oh, does he have a tracking chip now? No, no, no. He doesn't get that until we get the vaccine. I should not even joke about that because I know people who believe it. All right, seriously, you people are wonderful, and I want to sit here and talk to you, but I got other stuff I have to do and shows to write and things. Have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.